As the race for Asura presidential villa gathers pace, we enter the phase of real negotiations between the would-be helmsmen and the voters. Campaign manifestos are being scrutinized and in some cases criticized by the interested, the antagonistic, and the ambivalent. Of course, not everybody is on the same wavelength, even when they swim through the same waves to get to the political shores of destiny. Also, political update today, floods in many states leave a cascade of tears and blood. Many say it has joined the key issues on the ballot in 2023. Then there's the issue of pending cases and the chances of affected candidates to the 2023 elections. Let's get to set sail now. I beg your pardon. My name is Fisayo Gunfui. Welcome. Now, full deployment of technology in the 2023 election is not just a legal requirement but INEC's commitment to Nigerians. INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu stated this while receiving ECOWAS delegation on the fact-finding mission on the 2023 general elections.
A familiar man in a familiar terrain, Kwado Afari-Gyan headed the Ghanaian Electoral Commission for 22 years, a record yet to be broken globally. Hosting the mobile electoral library as it were, a great pleasure for the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. Here, Guado leads ECOWAS fact-finding mission to Nigeria ahead of the 2023 elections. I will talk more during the closed-door session, Guado says, but the second man of the delegation reminds INEC of Nigeria's relevance to the world.
Your sources is our sources at ECOWAS. We are looking for fair, credible, and transparent election.
For Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, the 7th general election in the Fourth Republic will be fought with technology for record breaking.
The 2023 general election in Nigeria will be driven by technology, not only as a matter of legal requirement, but also as a matter of course for us in the Commission.
Here for a fact-finding mission, nothing found so far, but when found, a copy will be availed to INEC for better performance, the delegation promised.
If anything is found, I'm sure you would find out. So we watch, and of course, you'll be giving us the updates. Now, also, the presidential candidate of the APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has met with business and religious leaders in Kano to chart a way forward for Nigeria and ensure the peace and progress in Nigerian communities.
This part of the country, in our politics, Kano is a gateway.
This is the first interactive session the APC presidential flag bearer is having with relevant stakeholders during his 3-day visit to Kano. It is preparatory to a mega rally coming up at a later date. The dinner was used by the business community to present their concerns and demands. Mr. Tinubu assured that economic rejuvenation is key in his agenda and their recommendations will form part of his policy implementation strategies.
Can you create 6 economic centers and leave Kano behind? No, it's not possible. It won't be successful.
He also sympathized with Kantunkwari traders and other people affected by this year's flood disaster and announced a donation of 100 million naira. Governor Abdullah Umar Ganduje told the presidential candidate that Kano is an APC stronghold and the party will enjoy voters' mass support.
Meanwhile, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, is wooing Nigerians to sign up with the Atiku Kuwa ticket in the 2023 general elections. Atiku says his 5-point agenda will address the economic and security issues bedeviling the country. This was when he addressed PDP supporters after the inauguration of the PDP Edo State Campaign Council office in Benin City.
A crowd of People's Democratic Party supporters thronged the Abuja Stadium in Benin City to receive Alhaji Atiku Abubakar on his visit to Edo. An enthusiast ovation rends the air as Atiku Abubakar, leaders of the party and governors arrive at Abuja Stadium. Is an opportunity for the man of the moment and the national chairman of the party to enlighten the gathered supporters what the political party has to offer.
We have promised to reunify this country. We are going to give each and every part of this country a sense of belonging. The People's Democratic Party is presenting you two outstanding people. They are the foundations of PDP in our state. Are we not to disappoint them?
Earlier, the PDP presidential candidate and his entourage were at the palace of the Oba of Benin to seek his blessings.
Here is the home for you. Your Excellency, I thank you very much for this wonderful visit. I want to wish you all well.
A campaign council office to help spearhead the success of the Atiku Okowa ticket was also inaugurated.
Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has appealed to the federal government and the international community to swing to action and intervene in the flood situation in the country, which has devastated many states, including Bayelsa State.
This is not the best of times in Bayelsa State as the flood continues to put a stranglehold on the people, many of whom are now displaced and their livelihoods compromised. However, the cries of Bayelsans have not gone unheard as the nation and indeed the international community are now well abreast with the situation of the flood, which has taken the dimension of a disaster. Presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, who was on a sympathy visit to the government and people of the state, encouraged and assured them that they are not alone in this trying time of their lives as people are concerned about their plight.
I encourage you as you go through this difficult in all of us. It is important to remember those who have lost everything in prayer. That is why for Nigeria, that's why I said we cannot continue campaigning in adversity.
Bayelsa State Governor Senator Doye Diri appreciated Peter Obi for the visit and called for partnership with the federal government for a lasting solution to the perennial flooding challenge in his state. At the Osbo Lake Internal Displaced Persons Camp, flood victims were elated to see the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, in company of the state governor to sympathize with them.
Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the Minister of Water Resources to lead and coordinate with the Ministries of Environment and Transportation, as well as the state governments in developing a comprehensive plan of action to prevent flood disasters in Nigeria. The President's directive, which was conveyed to the Minister in a letter signed by his Chief of Staff, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, said the plan should be presented in 90 days. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Malam Garba Shehu, says the President regularly receives updates on the flood situation in the country and restates his commitment to addressing the challenges caused by the disaster. And the experts, of course, say floods and other natural disasters are occurring with more regularity due to climate change. We are being joined now by the sponsor of the Climate Change Bill and now an Act of Parliament, Honorable Sam Onugbo, member representing Kwano, Umuahia, North Umuahia, South Federal Constituency of Abia State. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much,
Was that timely or are we a bit late? Because what are the instruments available to us to mitigate, these side events and what we should be doing at the sub-national level, for instance?
Thank you very much. The Climate Change Act is almost all-encompassing in that it factored in the roles to be played by the sub-national levels in coming up. In that, in the National Council on Climate Change, you have the chairman of the Governors Forum, to capture the interest of the states and be able to convey to them whatever resolutions, policies, actions that are to be taken. And then you also have the president of the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria. So that's the last phase or the last tier. All these people are on the council. So whatever resolutions, whatever actions that are taken or that are supposed to be taken, it's easy for this to be conveyed to the 774 local government chairmen, and then to the 36 state governors. So this is how it is captured. But the other aspect is that these subnationals always get, allocation from the ecological fund. Well, some of the questions that we are beginning to ask that are supposed to be interrogated thoroughly is, what have they been doing with the allocations they've been receiving over the years? So in doing this bill, we factored all these things in so that all phases, all sectors are captured. If we play our rules according to, maybe you are in local government and you do what you're supposed to do, clean the area you're supposed to clean. You are in state government, you help create the drainage system that's supposed to reduce the trouble coming from this kind of flood. And then the federal government now does it. So I'm sure that we'll be able to tackle this and reduce it to the barest minimum in the future.
At the humanitarian level, what are the challenges?
Well, the challenges are this. For instance, right now, you can see that we're having so many IDPs all over the place. So it's for nations, individuals, philanthropists to come in and make sure we are able to provide for these people and eliminate the danger of having, being dislocated from their place, joined with health issues like cholera and all that, which of course you cannot avoid at a time like this when the flood has, really, really tumbled things upside.
But in terms of instrumentality, is it enforced now? Of course, we have the law and we have the act, and but now are we already, have we put it in action?
To a large extent, yes. In that Mr. President has appointed a Director General for the National Council on Climate Change. That has been done. And then Mr. President, during one of the fake meetings, announced the inauguration. However, I think there's need for this to be clearly, delineated, broadened, in such a way that the ministries, departments, and agencies that are involved, in checkmating or contributing in reducing the devastating effects of climate change, that they are truly brought on board. Because what the act, plans for or conceives is to have, we have Ministry of Environment, Agriculture, Transportation, Water Resources, Women Affairs, and of course the Office of the National Security Advisor, the Central Bank Governor, and all that. And of course, you come to the chairman of the Governors Forum, the president of the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, and then the private sector, their representative, then youths, women, disabled, so that we have a comprehensive situation where when policies or a direction is set in motion, then actions are taken. So I do not know whether all the people who are supposed to make up this council, whether they've been appointed and truly inaugurated.
You mentioned the National Security Advisor there. Are there security threats as well as a result of this natural
disaster? Absolutely. It's becoming very clear to us. When we had the challenge in 2012, and, about 2.1 million people were dislocated, and then we lost about 363 people, but the economic cost was huge. We hadn't even recovered from that before this one came. Security is almost part of climate change. If you go back to about 3rd June 2009, when the United Nations Council debated this issue and passed a resolution, they captured the danger in Resolution 63281. That look, security is part of climate change. Because let me give you 2 instances. One, as climate change devastates areas, brings drought and desertification, people are pushed. Headers are forced to move. The area becomes ungovernable and it's now taken over by non-state actors. And some of these people come down. Now, when headers and farmers clash, you can see what it has brought to the nation. With what has happened now with this flood matter, you just see that the security implication is huge because we are going to have hunger. We're going to have serious dislocation from where you are. And of course, coming with that is breakdown of some law and order.
All right, let's move forward a little, and before we come back to your bit of politics from your side, coalition group known as Downroot Organization Network says it will mobilize massive support for APC presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The group had a meeting and a press conference with its members from 19 states in the northern part of the country in attendance. Members of the group say the APC presidential flag bearer has the credentials and the track record to deliver on his campaign promises.
No doubt, voting Tinubu will solve the problem of Nigeria's economy. We believe Tinubu is the only answer to restructure the Nigerian economy perfectly. And if we consider the history of our democracy as a country, Asuwaju is one of the few Nigerian politicians with a wide perspective and distinct attributes of being a political heavyweight of Lagos and its neighboring states. Beyond that, he extends his political reach to the northern parts of the country. With all this, we understand that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the best candidate among all presidential candidates in 2023.
Governorship candidates from different political parties in Ebonyi have come together to agree on committing to an electoral process devoid of violence of any form and any form of aggression. They are of the opinion that service to the people should be a matter of choice and not force.
The Independent National Electoral Commission should take cognizant notice of the dire situation in Ebonyi State with a view to evolving necessary containment measures ahead of the 2023 polls in the state. We appeal to all our supporters to remain calm and not take the law into their hands.
All right, for the last line and this second part of our discussion, we now have to come to some of the worrisome developments that we've seen in, recent times. Many politicians who want to be on the ballot in 2023 are still having issues in court. You are one of them. Will this affect the whole turnout? Because as it is now, it seems as if this is is a new cycle in Nigerian, electoral processes. You campaign, you go for election. At the end of the day, it ends up in court before we finish the cycle.
Yes, it is indeed a new cycle, and then added to it is the fact that the Electoral Act 2022, left some kind of provision, made it possible for people who have challenges either from primary election and all that they should be able to go through it before the general election. However, from what we are seeing in some of the courts, I think there are some concerns that, well, despite the efforts to ensure that we have proper electoral legal framework, a few of the courts have been looking for a way to undermine that. So,
all right, let's come to your party, Abia Central, for instance, the Central, race. You were one of the participants as well. But at the end of the judgment, for instance, we can't see a clear-cut decision as to who the representative of your party is as far as, that race is concerned. What is happening and where we go?
Well, where we're going is a simple thing in that, well, you do primary election in line with Section 84(1) of Electoral Act 2022, which says that any political party seeking to nominate a candidate for this election under this act shall hold primaries for all aspirants and for all elective positions. And such primaries shall be monitored by INEC. So by that, we were lucky to participate in a primary election which took place on the 28th and extended to the 29th. And that primary election was between me and Chief Enrico, who is now a Minister of the Federal Republic. We were not 3, we were not 4, just 2. So by today, I'm the only person left. And I won the primary election.
Pulled out? Was that the case?
Well, Senator Kechimwog withdrew in writing. Then Chief Kesu Waja took ill, was not able to make it, and unfortunately that sickness killed him. So it's just myself and Chief Enrico, and I defeated Chief Enrico, and he's been appointed a minister. So to now see that someone who never participated in the primary is now brought like a UFO to land and say, I'm the claimant to the ticket, is still part of what we are still expecting the legal system to resolve, because we were surprised that the judge went on a voyage and was talking about something. I don't even know whether the judge is now saying that the INEC report that certifies that I was elected as a candidate of the party APC for Abia Central. I do not know whether the judge by her judgment is saying that the INEC report is not correct. I won the election where one person has been appointed a minister, so I'm alone. To see another person who did not participate in the process be laying claim to this is still a mirage.
The issues now is we've moved from the High Court now to the appeal.
Exactly.
We have gone to the appeal.
Yes.
Okay, so but that's the challenge has always been this issue of these delays in court, and whichever candidate your party eventually emerges from the process, wouldn't that be, for instance, something like a handicap for you guys at the polls itself when you have not even started campaigning at all?
Well, I have started campaigning in a way, yes, because without sounding immodest, I'm very confident that at the end of the day, I will be declared the candidate of the party because I'm alone now. The man that contested with me, that I defeated, has been made a minister. So any other person that is laying claim to where you never participated in a primary election and where INEC has issued a report that I won the election, you'll discover that that's a UFO candidate.
We keep our fingers crossed and see how that pans out. And of course, we'll also, of course, be looking at the spaces for developments in the political scene as well. I want to really thank you for your intervention, especially talking about the issues of climate change. I've been the sponsor, of that. But are you happy about, the fact that at least we have the instrumentality to battle this now? I think you've been on this for about 5-4 years before eventually it got sailed through.
Exactly, because I started this in 2016. And finally, we were not able to get it through. Mr. President declined assent in 2018. But then I came back by his grace. I was re-elected. Then I focused on it. But again, let me thank Mr. President for his tenacity as far as this climate change issue is concerned. It's unfortunate that we are having this experience now where we appear overwhelmed. But there's no doubt that this is an eye-opener for all of us as Nigerians, because in the past people thought the climate change issue was just firing a warning shot, but we are living with the realities of climate change being a massive destroyer of issues, whether it's coming as flood or as desertification or drought or with some other natural disasters. We are seeing the impact right now, so we have to prepare and prepare very well by creating awareness, carrying out sensitization as is required, and ensuring that all layers of government are into it. It should not be left only for the federal government. State government has to come in alongside the local government.
Honorable Sam, Honorable Member representing Equano, North South Federal Constituency of Abia, I still want to thank you for coming. And
thank you very much for having me.
The viewer for watching, will be back again on Friday for a fresh package. My name is Fisal Gupin. Thanking you for staying tuned. All the best. Enjoy the rest of your week and play your politics for the greater good. Bye-bye now.